family. So this is going to be a powerful demonstration. I'm telling you, if you are interested in the Moorish Science Temple of America, if you wonder why the Moorish Science Temple of America has the complexion as it does, all these different groups, all of this different understanding, all of this weird stuff, if you want to know why, you have come to the right place. This is the Moorish Science Temple of America Guidance of the Nations class. I didn't make it to the temple today. We're going to do this online. It's raining real bad here in Baltimore, so I'm right here in the Moorish World TV studios. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to our member, Sister Odette Magnum Bay. She's in the building. And each and every one of y'all. Each and every one of y'all. Thank you, TGT. Can't wait to hear you speak. We're going in on some information. Don't pay attention to the Moorish World TV background. Don't worry about that. That background don't mean nothing right now because this is not Moorish World TV. This is Moorish World TV 7, where you get the unadulterated history, lessons, and wisdom of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So, family, I'm about to get started because the Grand Sheikh of our Sunday class and of the virtual Moorish Science Temple of America, he will close the meeting on me at 4:30 promptly. You follow what I'm saying? He will close the meeting on me at 4:30 promptly, and then I'll be stuck here. I'm trying to get done by 4:30, but if not, I'll have to go over because I want to make sure that y'all get this truth that we're about to deliver. So y'all ready? Press 7 if you're ready. Woo! So family, here we go. I got to give it to you. So one of the things that people get mad at me about is because I deliver the truth, and I deliver the truth in such a way that it sometimes appears to be offensive. You follow what I'm saying? Sometimes it appears to be offensive. I don't know why people get so upset because I'm only telling the truth. I'm not threatening nobody. I'm not cussing anybody out. I'm not slandering nobody. Slander means lie, all right? Everybody need to know, don't let people say Tahaka Bay is slandering. Because if I'm slandering, then the burden is on you to show me the what? The lie. You have to show me the lie when you say I slander. Slander don't mean that I'm just talking about you. Slander means that I'm talking about you and I'm lying. All right? That I put out misinformation, disinformation, false information. It's actually a legal recourse that you can take for slander. You know what I mean? It's called libel. You know what I'm saying? So don't let people run you away from the information. You feel what I'm saying? Don't let people run you away from the information, because when people say don't listen to Tahaka Bay, then you should listen. You know what I'm saying? For real, that's when you should listen. Even if you got to throw it in the trash can of history, that's when you should listen. When the Europeans say the sky is orange, you double check and make sure. Because that's how manipulation takes place. Manipulation takes place is by redirection. They want to redirect you from the truth. You know what I'm saying? And if I am lying, either tell me where I'm lying, tell me how I'm lying, so I can correct myself, or tell me where I'm lying, tell me how I'm lying, so you can correct me, and then people can listen to you, because we all are in this for truth. For Jesus has said, truth will set you free. Look at your neighbor and say, set you free. That's right. We in here for the truth. So people can get mad. Now, let me underscore this real quick. I am not doing this to acquire anybody's membership of any organization, in particular ones that call themselves Moorish Science Temple of America, Uniting Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Science Temple of America of the West Wing, Moorish Science Temple of America of the East Gate, Moorish Science Temple of America of a Maxim, Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, etc., etc., etc. In the words of Taj Tariq Bey, are we clear? Are we clear? ECT, ETC. Are we clear? I'm not doing this for that, because I will remind you that what people have done, people will do. If you have been under leadership and have produced bare minimum and caused confusion, 9 times out of 10, when it's time for us to work, you're going to produce bare minimum and cause confusion. I don't want you. I mean, I'm with the builders, I'm with the workers. Now, I want to give a shout out to my bro. My brother, I always got to give him a shout out. When I give him a shout out, that means I want his eyes and ears on this, because this is very unique and it's something that we're working on. And that's my brother, M. Nugent. I want him to watch this to the end, because at the end, I'm going to show you what's really going on. All right. Now, we're going to get started, family. First of all, let me screen share right quick. Let me screen share. Now, Prophet Noble Drew Ali put out this in the newspaper. Now, I'm reading straight from the newspaper that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali put out. Now, we need to stop philosophizing Moorish science. In other words, we be chopping it up about Moorish science, but we don't activate Moorish science. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's read Caveat Emptor. Caveat Emptor. Pay attention, family. I want you to take yourself from 2022 and take yourself to 1928. I'm going to exit out here in a minute. Take yourself from 1922 to 1928 real quick. Take a minute. Walk there with me. So the prophet put out what's kind of like is a proclamation. I say kind of like because it's not called a proclamation, but this is a warning that the prophet put out. It's called Caveat Emptor. You follow me? What's up, Balagoon, my big bro? That's right, my nephew. He says, listen to me. I want you to listen clear. I'm over here on Morse Road TV 7 on Facebook. The link is in the chat. Listen, family, I'm about to teach this thing. We're talking nationhood. Moors are men, upright, independent, and fearless. In this juncture, Prophet Noble Drew Ali are talking to Moorish men. Moors are men, upright, independent, and fearless. And when I say fearless, I mean fearless of every sense of the word. Independent, upright, who care for their loved ones and follow the prophet to a destiny which is not uncertain nor unknown. Question 1. Where is all of these people that say they follow the prophet? Where are they going? They got to be uncertain, and it got to be unknown to them, because for over 40, 50, 60 years, they've been running around the desert of their mind, accomplishing very little. So the prophet said, Moors, the ones who are upright, independent, and fearless, they follow the prophet to a destiny which is not uncertain nor unknown. Today we're going to break down where the prophet is trying to take you. But you must be willing to go. You must be a willing participant. Watch this. They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is therefore folly at the highest height for smelly culprits. We got smelly culprits calling themselves Moorish Americans. According to the prophet, there were smelly culprits then, and we got smelly culprits now with their insidious plans to invade such realm. This is a holy and divine movement. Watch me. I'm excited today. Watch me. They try, but their own bad planning bring down the wrath upon their heads, like the sword of Damocles had. Intrigue and scurrilous cunning finds a difficult path to travel within the rank of the Moors. What the prophet is saying right here, those who are faking is going to find it difficult. You follow me? Because it's going to reveal themselves. This is why people join. This is why people drop off. This is why people want something for free. This is why people want a free lunch. people think somebody going to give them something with a piece of paper. You follow me? It's difficult to follow in the footsteps of the prophet if your heart ain't right. It says, this is because the Moorish movement has been well planned by the prophet Noble Drew Ali, whose latent powers are abundant, unknown, and may be called into action at any moment. I say any moment. Called into action as a matter of defense at any moment. I'm almost getting to the slides now, family. Let me exit out right here. I'm almost getting to the slides now. I just want to set the stage that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is talking to the people, right? He's talking to the people in real time, and you need to be listening in real time. You follow me? You need to be listening in real time due to the fact that we have the same situation today. I'm trying to share this to somebody real quick. Just bear with me. I'm about to heat it up. It's going to heat up in a minute. Yep. The haters of truth will be upset. The haters of truth will be upset momentarily. I'm heating up. So let me finish this. Caveat emptor. Prophet Noble Drew Ali knows. Remember, he's writing this in 1928. Prophet Noble Drew Ali knows the people within his ranks who are interested. In other words, if the Prophet Noble Drew Ali have to say that, the meaning of that is that he knows the people who are interested, that there are peoples in the ranks who are not interested. Come on. For every above, there's a below. For every positive, there's a negative. For every right, there is a wrong. The higher self and the lower self. This says Prophet Noble Drew Ali knows the people within the ranks who are interested. They are the vanguards of the movement. Where are the vanguards today? What are the vanguards? Those who are going to protect the pristine teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Where are the vanguards? Am I the only one? Where are they? Where are they? Everybody want to play along to get along. Where are the vanguards of the movement? Look, this is the part where they get shook up at. They are the vanguards of the movement as the Moorish hordes increase in America. Look at the Moorish hordes. The Moorish hordes has increased. You got the Taj Tariqites. You got the consulates. You got all these different Moorish groups or Moorish hordes in America. Bring it on up to speed. But now, where are the vanguards as the Moorish hordes increase? Huh? I ain't hear nobody say nothing. But anyway, members, it says all Moors are active, not passive. That means, if you don't know what that means all Moors are active, not passive. In other words, hold up. Moors are not soft. Moors are not soft. All Moors are active, not passive. We ain't soft. We ain't going for it. Game over. Manipulation is over. Game over. Moors are active. We are actively preserving these holy and divine laws. We are actively being vanguards. We are actively defending the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teachings and the way of life as established on earth by the will of Allah. We are actively doing that. Watch this. We're not passive in doing that either. We're not tiptoeing through the tulips. We're not playing along to get along. That ain't what we doing. I got to set the stage before I get to the rest of the teachings. Let's get it. It says, a few feet below is another road where schemers walk, where traitors grin, and culprits bask in the sun. They think they are on the same road with the true Moors. They think they are on the same road with the true Moors. Prophet Noble Drew Ali is talking to somebody. This is not just a philosophy. This is addressing somebody. And we must address them today. And we must address them today. They think they on the same road with the true Moors, but the Moors are high above on a pinnacle where they might view these destructionists as they fall for the last time, and their destructionists as they may fall for their last time, and their bones bleach in the sultry midday sun. Hungry scavengers flying high, catch scent, devour, and leave crying out, cavity denter, cast out the dead carcass. The Moors high above see these plotters. You follow me? See these plotters. Somebody say the prophet did not write this. See these plotters. Let's get it out the newspaper. Let's get it out the newspaper. See these plotters. We ain't gonna let nobody disturb the class. Let me get the newspaper for you, because he said Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't write that. Let's get the newspaper article real quick. 1 second. Let's get the newspaper article. Then I'm gonna shut him down real quick. Let's get the article. Let's get the original article. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the original article. Then I'm gonna block this guy in the chat. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get the original article. Then I'm gonna go ahead and block him. Yeah, he gonna have to make another account. Yeah, he gonna have to make another account. You know what I'm saying? That's what he gonna have to do. Matter of fact, I ain't even got time to get the real article right now. I ain't gonna let you disturb my class. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just show that we got all the articles. You know what I'm saying? If you disturb my class again, I'm putting you in timeout. You know what I mean? I got all the articles. You see that? I got all the articles. I got pieces. I got bits. I got all the articles. You hear what I say? We're not going to let you disturb the class unless you want to step forward and challenge the information. Do you want to hit the link and challenge the information? Huh? Let me, hey, we got 37 people in the chat. Thumbs up. We want to see if knowing, I know who he is. Let's see if he want to hit the link and challenge the information, because he's about to get a spanking in a minute. This is what they do. They want to redirect. Remember I said that in the beginning? They want to redirect you from the truth. They want to redirect. But let me see if he want to step in. Let's see if he want to step in. Let's see if he want to step in. Let's see if he want to step in real quick. We ain't going to let you disturb the whole class, but we'll let you hit the link and we'll let you prove your point that the prophet didn't write that. There we go. That's the only thing we need you to prove. And I'm going to show you where it come from. I'm going to give you the source. Now, I'm going to give you the source. Hit the link. Come on. You only got a few minutes now, because we're not going to let you disturb the class. Now, come on. Hit the link. Stop playing. Are you going to hit the link or not? Are you going to hit the link or not? Huh? What you doing? We waiting on you. Now let me find the newspaper. While you playing around, if you don't hit the link in 3 minutes, I got to go. I got to go if you don't hit the link now. We can't play these games. We got people that's ready to learn the history. Let's go, brother. What you got?
Islam. You should. I asked him. I made a statement saying that the prophet ain't right there.
Say what?
Now you show proof that the prophet wrote that, because now I can show proof. I can show proof that he ain't right there. Where the prophet signature at on
Hold
that?
up. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Wait a minute. I can't hear you.
It says I'm in the show. Everyone can see and
Hold
hear
up.
me.
I can't hear you, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna come with the facts. Maybe you won't just know who's
You're
knowing
talking too much. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're talking. I can't hear you. I just said I can't hear you. Hold up. Trying to figure out why I can't hear you. Hold up.
Hold on. There you go. Can you hear me more? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Hold up. Say what? Say it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because they said that you can hear me. So, okay, all right.
Say
Now,
it.
I made a statement. First of
Okay.
all, maybe a lot more won't know who knowing is. I put that on there for a reason.
Nah, man,
Hold
come
on,
on,
babe.
brother. Brother,
Now,
don't come in here cussing. Come on, say
no,
what you gotta say.
I ain't saying no cuss word. What you talking about? I ain't saying no cuss word. Can
Now, come
everybody
on.
hear me in that chat? I ain't saying no curse word,
Come
brother.
on,
Don't
brother.
try to
You gotta tell me what you
deflect
gotta
nothing.
say.
Okay, here we go. Here's let me see where they can see this at.
Okay.
Here's the article from the newspaper, and
All right.
the prophet name, as it say on things that the prophet say. It don't say about order of the prophet, by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali, none of that. Even
Okay.
even in that newspaper. Now show your proof in that newspaper that it says that the prophet said that. The
Okay. Hold
prophet
on.
didn't write that.
Okay.
The prophet ain't write that. Another thing I'm gonna get on you about is the prophet name.
Okay.
The prophet name is Timothy, not Thomas.
Okay. Hold up. Let's
It's
deal with
more
one
that
thing at
walk
a
with
time. One thing at a time, brother.
oh no,
Brother,
no,
one
hear me
thing
out,
at a
brother.
time.
Hear me out, brother. Hear
Brother,
me
one
out.
thing at
Cause
a
you say
time,
you
all
want
right?
the smoke. I'm gonna blow the smoke right. I'm gonna blow
Brother,
the
one
smoke
thing
right
at a
towards you.
time. One thing at a time. Stop, bro. We got to do
Okay,
this
stop.
orderly. Be quiet. One
Go,
step at a time.
don't show your proof
Bro,
that
be
the
quiet.
prophet wrote
One
that.
step at
Show
a
the
time. One step
newspaper.
at a time.
Don't
Orderly.
show
Orderly.
don't show
Be,
no bunch of clips or
be
nothing.
quiet.
Show the actual newspaper where the prophet wrote that at.
Bro, listen what I'm saying. I'm
Show
going
the
to have,
actual newspaper
bro,
where the prophet
can
said
you
that.
be
You said
quiet?
that out your mouth. You said that out your
Bro,
mouth
be quiet.
October a year ago.
Bro, you're going to have to be quiet, bro. You're going to have to be quiet. Here is the newspaper right here. Y'all see this? This is the newspaper right here. Cavi Emptor. All right? This is the newspaper right here. Now, this is the newspaper. All right? Press 7 if you see the newspaper. Press 7 if you see the newspaper. Y'all with me? Can y'all hear me? I want to make sure y'all can hear me. All right. This is the newspaper. When you read this newspaper, the standard has always been Prophet Noble Drew Ali is the owner and editor of the newspaper. So whenever you don't see the prophet name under an article and you cannot find the article anywhere else, it is by default attributed to the publisher. Let me stop right here. Let me stop right here. Let me stop right here. Hold up, hold up. Now, let me go here and show you who is the owner and the publisher of the Moorish Guide. Who is the owner and publisher of the Moorish Guide? So by default, when you cannot, and this is standard, when you cannot connect a story, a statement, or any publishing of any periodical, even today, you attribute it to the publisher. What is wrong with these people? Unless you can attribute it to a source, the source becomes the owner and the publisher. Press 7 if you understand, so we can move on. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? If you see a story, in the New York Times and it doesn't have an author under it, it is automatically by default attributed to the publisher. These are the pretended wise, man. These are the pretended wise. I'll take time. He dropped off. I don't know. I mean, these are the pretended wise. Whenever you cannot find the source of a story with a periodical, you automatically attribute it to the publisher. That's just how it goes. Wake up. That's the bottom line. Don't hold me up with the nonsense. And now, if he wants to debate me on the prophet name, being Timothy Drew as opposed to Thomas Drew, I will take that. But I want to embarrass you in front of people for jumping into my class while you should be sitting in the corner learning, all loud and wrong. And then your Obama phone get cut off on you. Now, he just took me off for a minute, but I'll save the next one for him. And that's the only one I'm going to address today. I mean, you feel me? Islam, anything the prophet wrote has his name on it, such as the voice of the prophet, editorials, a divine warning by the prophet for the nation, the prophet has spoken. Anytime that you see an article in the Moorish Guide or any periodical and there is no name under it and you cannot trace it, because I can trace some of the articles. That's how publishing works. Now, so let me stop right there. The pretended wise. So, with that being said, let's get back to the class. Unless you want to debate me, and I can show you how publishing works. At Gmail. Rate me, bring a monitor with you. Bring a moderator with you. That's all. Bring a moderator with you. Now let's get back busy. Throwing spitballs in my class. What's wrong with this fool? Get on up out of here. Anyway, back to my point. Oh, I didn't want that. Throwing spitballs in my class. That wasn't even a point that I was making. We're talking about caveat emptor. You know what I mean? As if caveat emptor doesn't sound personal enough. Anyway, let's get with it. What is the name of Prophet Noble Drew Ali's organization is the first question. So one of the reasons that we have to point this out is because the prophet left his footprints clearly cut. You follow what I'm saying? And if you don't know, do we have someone in Columbus? Do we have someone in the Columbus? Mazouk Razine El, are you close to Columbus? There you go. We got a sheik in Columbus, Mazouk Razine El. Hit joinnobletemples@gmail.com, to Akabay at Gmail, and I will connect you with our sheik in Columbus. So what is the name of Prophet Noble Drew Ali's organization? The name of the organization. Can anybody type it in the chat? What is the legal official name of the Moorish Science of the Prophet's organization? You don't have to type it if you don't want to, because I'm going to give it to you in a minute. Let's get it. And this is important. The reason why this is important, because the prophet left his footprints clearly cut. And if you can't recognize the footprints, then there's no way you'll be able to follow the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. All right? So this is for Moorish Americans and other people who wish to understand what the Moorish Science Temple of America is all about. So here we go. We're about to get busy now. So when we look at the organization known as the Moorish Science Temple of America, we know that it also has an affiliate organization, which is one and the same, a separate type entity, but one and the same body, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Within the organization of the Moorish Divine and National Movement, or before it was changed, it was the Moorish Holy and Divine Movement. Within that structure is the Moorish Holy Temple of Science and the Moorish Science Temple of America. The organization is called the Moorish Science Temple of America. Now, let's bring the proof. This is why this is important. This is the original copies, if you will, as far as we know. And as we see on what is called the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, which is called the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, we see the name the Moorish Science Temple of America. And this is a divine document. Anytime you see Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaw, that's a manipulation, that's a remix. The one that you're looking at right here is the one that the prophet held. This is a copy. You follow me? This is a copy of it. And in fact, I got this off of Belial's wall. You follow me? Now, when you look at the questionnaire for Moorish Americans, you look at the bottom of it, and you will also see the name. The name, the Moorish Science Temple of America, is very important because it denotes the definite article. Understand what the definite article is, and we're on our way. You follow me? Noble Ali, founder, the Moorish Science Temple of America, Chicago, Illinois. Now, that's just pieces of paper that people can say, well, you know, that don't mean nothing. It could be something more to it. All of this is going to make sense in a minute. Just follow me on this. Here's another copy, the Moorish Science Temple of America. This time it has the address on it, 3140 Indiana Avenue. Right? All right. Slide House, you with me? You with me, brother? You with me, brother? You with me? So look, the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is very important because we got people chasing crazy stuff. We got people chasing crazy stuff, and it's meant for them to chase waterfalls because the prophet knew exactly what he was doing. Now, when we look at this document right here that was filed for the organization, we get to see right here what. One second. Let me see if I can draw something real quick. Let me see if I can get a. Hold up 1 second. Let me see if I can try to insert something real quick. Here we go. We see right here. Let me see if I can make that red right there. You know what I'm saying? And make that a little bit bigger. So we see right here, the name on the legal document is what? Say it with me. What was the name changed to? Can anybody say it? The name was changed to, you feel me? The Moorish, born eternal Lord Allah. Come, stay to the end of the show, and we're going to show you what religious-minded people think like, all right? Because you're not sure yet. Y'all see it? This is a legal document right here. You feel me? So the name was changed from Moorish Temple of Science to the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is clear. This is going to make a difference because a lot of people be trying to fake people out. They be trying to fake people out. And for you to understand how this movement will benefit you, somebody said blow it up. For you to understand how this movement will benefit you, you first got to find the footsteps. You feel me? You first have to follow the footsteps. And I'm going to show you, this is going to be a powerful demonstration today. I'm going to show you where we missed the mark. We're chasing waterfalls. We got to look for the prophet's footsteps. This is going to mean a lot to you in the end of this presentation in the next 30 minutes. This is going to mean the world to you. Now, to you, you might say, tomato. Nah. In order for you to discover the prophet, in order for you to act within the prophet's organization, you have to be able to visualize it. You have to be able to visualize it. And he left his footprints clearly cut. So now, let's start cutting these. Let's start cutting into the footprints. Let's start walking into them. You feel me? Now, when we look at Braswell Bay. This is Braswell Bay page, and he calls himself Moorish Science Temple of America. This is his page right here. Now, One thing that we need to know about Braswell Bay, if you don't know what these look like, let me grab a picture real quick because I want to make sure that we know who these people look like. Braswell Bay. Let me pull up one real quick. Braswell Bay is head of Grand Major Temple, affectionately called Grand Major Temple. You follow me? And let me grab a picture real quick. So this is, and we're going to give them a good drop because I'm going to challenge some of that information also that they're putting over there on their, they got some good information, but I'm going to challenge some of it. You know what I mean? So here's Braswell Bay right here. I'm trying to get them in sync. Give me 1 second because I want everybody to be in tune. I want y'all to know who these people are. You know what I mean? This is Braswell Bay. Smooth operator. I like me some Braswell Bay. He's a smooth operator, but he's not too smooth for me. There you go. So this is Braswell Bay right here. And he is the head of Moorish Science Temple of America. And you got to be careful so you know what, when you pay attention to details, you automatically will find your way back home to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who is espousing the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. That's number one. All right. So one thing about the misinformation of Braswell Bay, I always point out, first and foremost, I'm always point out that this lineup of leadership that leads to him is a flat out lie. All right. And I like to remind people also that there is nothing true that can come out of living a lie. All right. Hold up. So when someone lies, like, and says that, okay, Prophet Noble Drew Ali appointed Emeliel. That's true. Brother Morrisell was a Supreme Grand Sheikh. That's not true. That's not true. I want you to pay attention. Whenever someone lies to you, there's nothing good that can come out of it. A lie will benefit another lie and benefit another lie. So Morrisell was not a Supreme Grand Sheikh. How is a Supreme Grand Sheikh appointed in the Moorish Science Temple of America? Just like it was, it's appointed. Because he was the assistant Grand Sheikh, he went over to Kirkman Bay. So let's be clear. Let's be clear. Brother, email me. We can debate this. I ain't got time to play with you. Let's be clear. Brother Morris L. joined Kirkman Bay. He was not a Supreme Grand Sheikh. A Supreme Grand Sheikh is the head of the Supreme Grand Council. That wasn't Morris L. Walton Bay was not a Supreme Grand Sheikh. There was no convention to appoint Walton Bay a Supreme Grand Sheikh. Do y'all understand? This is going to make sense in the end. Stay with me. If you don't understand Moorish politics, stay with me. You will in the end. You will. I promise you, you will. Harlan Bay was not a Supreme Grand Sheikh. O. Louis L. was not a Supreme Grand Sheikh. Let me explain to the people that don't know. So when we're talking about Supreme Grand Sheikhs of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we're talking about an ascension to power, like the presidency of the United States. One president out, one president in. One president out, one president in. Every time a president come in, there's an inauguration. Every time a Supreme Grand Sheikh come in, the system that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali put together, there's a convention. So there's supposed to be a convention for every year. So in other words, the Prophet's convention was in October, right? What about the two seals, page 1? But every temple don't have them. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'll talk about them seals in a minute, Colin Varsel. Those seals today are null and void. I'm going to tell you why, brother. It's going to hurt somebody's feelings, but I can prove it. I can prove it. Those seals are decoration today. And I can prove it. I can prove it, brother. Hold on. Let me just finish what I'm saying here. Check this out. Baliel was not a Supreme Grand Sheikh in 1968. And he actually made me a sheikh. He was a sheik, but not a supreme grand sheik. P. Davis L. was actually, for all intents and purposes, was appointed a supreme grand sheik by his constituents. Now that could be legitimate because the movement had dwindled to the point where as though there was no Supreme Grand Council, there was no Supreme Grand Sheik, and so to bring it back together, his brothers and sisters got to raise him up to sovereign power. But everything before P. Davis L. was a lie. You hear what I said? So Braswell Bay, claiming to be ascended from a line of Supreme Grand Sheiks, say it with me, everybody, it's a lie. And if this is a holy and divine movement, as quoted by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we can't build on a foundation of a lie. It's impossible to build on a foundation of a lie. First, you must remove the lie. First, you must remove the lie. And then you have to establish the truth as laid out by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And that's for any group that claim to follow Prophet Noble Drew Ali. All right? So I want to be clear on that, and I take all challenges on this. But you got to be respectful. Don't come in like, bro, I couldn't hear him, and da-da-da. He can email me, and we can do a debate like tomorrow. I ain't got no problem with that. We can do it tomorrow. So now, when we look at Braswell Bay, what he's teaching about his history ascending to power is a flat out lie. It's just a lie. No, this is not disrespectful. This is just the flat out truth. It's a lie. Now, let's deal with what he calls his temple. He calls his temple number 1 Grand Major Temple. So we have to ask ourselves, all of these things important. Remember, we are confused. We are discombobulated of what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's movement looked like. So everything must be put back in order the way the Prophet left it so we can identify what we must do. Again, at the end of this presentation, you will appreciate all these tidbits that I'm putting out right now. So his temple number 1 is called Grand Major Temple. Did the Prophet ever have a Grand Major Temple? Press Y if yes. Press N if no. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get me some water. Oh, man. Hold up. I ain't got no bottled water here. Ain't nobody answer yet? Carlo Rossi looked like he needed to join the Noble Temples. Carlo Rossi looked like he needed to join the Noble Temples. Looked like he knows something. Islam on that. Carlo Rossi say the major temple is strictly in spirit. Well, Carlo Rossi is right on it today. Let me show you something. Where he got that from, Grand Major Temple, if you will, he got that from West 57th Street, who was under the leadership of all people, German Bay at one time. Moorish Science Temple of America, Divine and National Movement, Grand Major Temple. So he's carrying that over from German Bay. The Prophet never had a Grand Major Temple. In fact, the Prophet mentions Grand Major Temple, but people have a Grand Major misunderstanding. what that means. The prophet mentions this in chapter 47. Every subordinate temple of the grand major temple is to form under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the holy prophet and grand temple. Now, which one exists during the time of the prophet? Grand major temple mean one thing, but grand temple means one thing too. Now, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Every subordinate temple of grand major temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the holy prophet and grand temple. As we can see, the temple number one under the prophet Noble Ali was called Grand Temple, not Grand Major Temple. Grand musical concert led by Grand Temple. And temple number 5, Detroit Sister Lomax Bay. This article, this little piece right here comes off of the first annual convention. All right. And that's one reference of Grand Temple being referred to as temple number 1 being referred to as Grand Temple. So boom, we got to follow the footsteps of the prophet. Also, out of the Moorish Guide newspaper, we also find Sunday, September 2nd was the big day at Grand Temple at 3140 Indiana Avenue. Once again, we see, you feel me? Once again, we see that there is no Grand Major Temple physically called under the Prophet Noble Ali as so far as we have researched. So the reason why this is important, I'm telling you, stand by with me, because all of this is important, family. This might seem trivial right now. So when someone change the landmarks, then you can't find your way back. You follow what I'm saying? When someone change, hold up. Give me 1 second. I want to show y'all something that's a universal principle. All right. The prophet is so real with this, right? That you got to pay attention. When people change stuff, this is what's happening. In the book of Proverbs, you feel me? It reads in the book of Proverbs, family, remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. When people change names, change colors, change all of this crazy stuff, they're removing the landmarks. And you can't find your way back to the divine path. Press 7 if you understand me. I need to make sure that you're walking with me, that you understand me. Press 7 if you understand. Whenever you change something, you're changing the ancient landmarks. You're changing the identity and the complexion so the people cannot find out what's real and what's fake. So we are reestablishing what's real as opposed to what's been faking for so long. This is prophecy come true. Change, remove not the ancient landmarks. This is how people get confused, lost, misled, and ultimately destroyed. So this is all I'm doing. And I'm going to remind you of this throughout this presentation. Now, Braswell Bay calls himself the current Supreme Grand Sheik and Chairman. He's the eighth succession. That is a lie, because there is no succession if nothing has never been passed down. You see, he's saying that he's the eighth succession, but this stuff is made up. They have never been Supreme Grand Sheiks. It's made up. It's a flat out lie. Therefore, in the sense of what Braswell Bay talking about, that he's the eighth succession, it's a lie. And you cannot sit in the seat in power on a lie. In fact, when you look at the star, the asterisk, where it says the individuals are later expelled from the office of Supreme Grand Sheik, and he claimed that Belial was expelled in 92, that's a lie also, because he was taken up on charges of embezzlement by Belial. You follow me? He was taken up on charges for embezzlement of faith and embezzlement of finances and misconduct. And unknowing to everybody else, it wasn't even Belial taking him up on charges, and he attacked Belial and called him gay or homosexual and all types of stuff. It wasn't even Belial. Belial was just in charge, so he had to present it. But these are the people that was taken up on charges and ultimately expelled. And when they were, actually they dipped. And then he created Grand Major Temple. I need y'all to walk with me now. You can't build nothing on a lie. This is why there's so much confusion. Everybody want to know why it's so much confusion? I'm showing you today. Everybody want to wonder why? Ain't that's the question everybody asks? Why is it so much confusion? But the moment that I break it down to you, you say, why are you causing confusion? Like, what? What? Oh my goodness. Why so much confusion? I start to break it down, then you ask me why I'm causing confusion. But anyway, with that being said, let's go up to Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. Under the leadership of R. Jones Bay. Now, they even registered, trademarked Moorish Science Temple of America. You see, we got the R as supposedly it's registered, trademarked. You follow me? But now remember, the name of the Moorish Science, the name of the Prophet movement legally is called the Moorish Science Temple of America. But they even registered Moorish Science Temple of America. Let's go a step further. Now, when you look at R. Jones Bay's organization called the Moorish Science Temple of America, and officially on the record, they use the official name of Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated as if that's the whole name. We start to see that it differs from what we see on the legal filing filed by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And with the head position called Grand Sheik and Moderator, formerly Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator, we see that doesn't even mesh with how the Prophet laid the movement out as it relates to the divine constitution and bylaws. The Grand Sheik and Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is the official position of the leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So, when we look at this letter here that was written to tell people about frauds pretending to be them, you have to read it close. You have to read it close. It says Grand Sheik of Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. You got McDonald's, you got McDowell's. McDowell's sometimes can be confused with McDonald's. But there's only one Moorish Science Temple of America, and it's the Prophets. And the way that you understand it and recognize it is by following the Prophet footsteps. Anybody outside of the Prophet footsteps, they cannot be the Prophet's movement. I don't care how many Moorish American prayers you may say. On a personal level, the Moorish Science Temple of America can benefit the world by using this philosophy. But as an organization that's supposed to and will intentionally metamorphose into a full-fledged nation, this doesn't work. I know people are mad at me, but I'll accept all challenges. But now look, it says Grand Sheik of Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, Brother R. Jones Bay. The home office is in 2905 5th Street, Southeast Washington, D.C. Here is a problem. One of the reasons that the prophet moved from New Jersey to Chicago, do anybody know why the prophet moved from Chicago to New Jersey? Do anybody know? Anybody know? If you don't know, let me explain. The reason that the prophet moved from New Jersey to Chicago, because the laws in Chicago were suitable for the mission to metamorphose us into a full functional nation. That was the reason. The laws. Therefore, when he created the home office at 3603 Indiana Avenue, he created the office, there we go, T. Mudiel, for religious and political benefits. Absolutely. So the address that he used at 3603 Indiana Avenue enabled him to use the laws of Cook County. So it was the laws. Absolutely. So the home office was at 3603 Indiana Avenue for that express purpose. It's just like when you start a business and you need to have an address so you can have a registered agent of that place, or it becomes a foreign entity, a foreign business, if you will. But the prophet wanted the full benefits of the laws of Chicago, and so that's why he went to Chicago. And so to remove that and don't understand that you removed it, first off, you changed the name, adjusted the name from what you were seeing, and then you also moved home office to Washington, D.C. And then you captured the name and you went to the Secretary of State. You went to the Secretary of State and made it a 501c3. All outside of the prophet's intentions. Totally outside the prophet's intention. Not R. Jones Bay, but Kirkman Bay and the staff did it back then. And then when the 501c3 came into existence in the 80s, they put it under that. And to this day, that's where it remains. Therefore, you know what I mean? Carlo, I ain't messing with Ross. Therefore, it's outside of the scope of the intentions of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's movement. That's just what it is. It's clearly out of the scope of the, so you're not going to receive a prophet's benefit if you're not doing what the prophet did. All right? That's just what it is. And when you look in Washington, D.C., anytime you see something filed in state, you see, now I don't know which one's who, and I didn't have time to look at it. They're all nonprofits. Now, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, under Religious Corporation of Cook County, is a not-for-profit, which is different from a nonprofit 501c3. It's totally different. That's another class for another show. However, we're talking about removing the landmarks. And like I said, at the end, we're going to find out why this is so important. And I'm almost there. I'm getting there. If you go to the Secretary of State of Chicago, you see all the different variations of the names Moorish Science Temple of America. But we don't see the legal wrangling as laid out by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It's missing. We see some stuff, but we don't see what the prophet did, because the prophet removed the organization out of the Secretary of State, and he filed an affidavit to the cause, of which he did. So anybody that goes to the Secretary of State is clearly outside of the structure of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And once again, you will understand this after a few more slides. All right? Now, it got so bad with C. Kirkman Bey that he finally, in July 12th, 1935, after the passing of Emiliel, he began to sink his fangs in trying to gain control of the legal aspect of the Moorish Science Temple of America as it relates to the laws of the Secretary of State. And he lost every court case coming up against. You feel me? He lost every court case up against Emiliel, but the moment that Emiliel passed, he moved. And when he moved on trying to capture the movement. So it says, Colonel C. Kirkman Bey declared the only supreme advisor and moderator. Well, if any Moorish American had any sense back then, they should let him have that anyway, because that's not the Prophet's organization. The head of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not the Grand Supreme Advisor and Moderator. This is his paper, and he, 1 minute, he Grand Supreme Advisor, and then as time go on, he's Supreme Grand Advisor. But this is his paper right here. He published it because once you publish it, it becomes legally binding. And I told you about that months ago in another presentation. So right here, he's laying down the law now. By order of Colonel C. Kirkman Bey, Supreme Grand Advisor and Moderator for the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. Once again, you get to see, and when you really go into deep detail about this, there is a lot of evidence that this is intentional. It's intentional not to call himself the Moorish Science Temple of America as it was legally set up. It's very intentional. All right? But he begins to publish things in his newspaper because, again, the moment that you begin to publish stuff, it becomes legally binding. And I think the objective is to prove to the public that he is the original Moorish Science Temple of America. That's the only thing it could be. And so when you look right here, he even published this, and it's kind of grainy, but I'm going to read it to you the best way I can. It says that Miliel has something, 1929 convention said something, and then departed this life. So we know that it's talking about someone departed. But then it says that C, and that got to be Kirkman Bey, listen to this lie, and Miliel also jointly charge of the management and supervision of headquarters and of Prophet during a lifetime. And Kirkman Bey also acted as his interpreter. That's a flat out lie. Kirkman Bey publishes in the paper that him and Miliel. That's a flat out lie. How do we know that's a flat out lie? We know it's a flat out lie. Give me a second. Where that was at? Hold up. Let me pull this up real quick. That is a flat out lie. He's trying to say that him and Meliel ran home office. That's a lie. Watch it. Or ran the temple for the prophet. That's a flat out lie. Give me 1 second. If I can find it, I think I could use this right here. But if anybody familiar with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's or the history of the Moorish Science Temple of America, right in this article right here, Meliel presides over the temple when the prophet leaves. Meliel is appointed the Supreme Grand Sheikh at the first annual convention. Like he didn't have his assistant. Anybody know who Meliel's assistant was? Meliel's assistant was Small Bay. Kirkman Bay was never his assistant. He flat out lied. But Meliel had passed at this time, so now he's trying to solidify his hold on the organization. Let me go a step further. Why this is important, again, you will understand in a little bit. Now, he goes a step further, and he's even published the affidavit. But a few key things are missing from the affidavit. And it's intentional because we know when the prophet published the affidavit, what it looked like. This is what it looked like when the prophet published it. And you know what it looked like? 1 second. You know what it looked like? It looked just like the affidavit that was actually filed. It's not missing anything. You hear what I'm saying? It's not missing anything. You see that? Noble Drew Ali, Meliel, Ball Bay, Lovett Bay. The affidavit, Noble Drew Ali. It's not missing anything. If you read the whole thing, take your time, screenshot it. When the Prophet Noble Drew Ali published it, like I said, he's making it legal and binding and letting the public know he's putting it on the record for the record. You see that? Same exact thing. Now, let's flip over what Kirkman Bay do in 1935. 1 second. Let's read this. He said he published in his authority, but he takes out the rank and file. August, hold up, there get the date. August 1928. So let's start up here. August 1928. You follow me? 1 p.m. When you get down here, it says Moorish Science Temple of America, held at Chicago, in the county of Cook in the state of Illinois, July 18, 1928. Right there. Then when you get down here, it said 1928. It said for the purpose of the following person was appointed sheiks. Nothing. Y'all see that? Okay. Y'all see that? And another thing he takes out too. I hope y'all paying attention. Can I get a pointer or something? So I want you to follow me closely real quick. So when you see Moorish Science Temple of America and appointed sheiks, you see the names are missing. Then you see Moorish Science Temple of America right here, adopted. His corporate name. He also took out this line here. The Moorish Science Temple of America deriving its power and authority. That's real significant. Because you see Moorish Science Temple of America here, but right here, the Moorish Science Temple of America deriving its power and authority is what really prophet mean that he went around his elbow to get to his thumb. For those who have ears, you can hear it. But he removed the names for a reason. This is why when I was 19 years old, coming up in the Moorish Science Temple of America, we didn't even know who Emeliel was. When I was 19 years old and we looked on the back of the questionnaire, we had no clue who those people were. Because Kirkman Bey and the leadership that followed him always done the best they could to keep that under wraps. Not until Belial came along did we get a glimpse who Emeliel was. So all of those years, no one knew what the Moorish Science Temple of America structurally looked like. No one knew. Not until David Belial comes along and is discovered by no other than Braswell Bey and P. Davis L. You hear what I say? And when Braswell Bey, Rasadiel, P. Davis L., they left Grand Major Temple and tried to join with Belial, they also began to steal information that Belial had kept, that his family had held on to Temple Number One. And then from that, we get to see a glimpse of what the organization looked like. The prophet was known to say, he said, so on the back of your questionnaire, names weren't there. No, it was names there, but it was like Chinese. No one spoke about that. No one knew who that was. No one knew that these was the line of grand. No, a lot of the information that is readily available to us was either released by Belial or stolen from Belial and released. A lot of the Moorish gods. Listen, when I was 19, we had Moorish voice. We had copies of the Moorish voice. The Moorish voice had faded out, but we had copies of the Moorish voice. We had other industrious Moors that was creating their own paper, but we had very little access to Moorish gods until Belial, until around 93. But even then, it was still locally in Chicago. It wasn't that widespread. See, now with the internet, people talk about Meliel, this, it's the second thing. No, when I came in, we ain't know nothing about no Meliel. Most people didn't know who Meliel was. So without Belial, he was the linchpin to give us an idea of what it looked like. And fortunately, I've been able to run around and do research, sit in Belial living room and look through boxes and see some things. Belial give me some things. My brother Talik L, me and him trying to figure out grainy writings on stuff like that. Shout out to Talik L and all the brothers that's a part of Belial's administration. Under the leadership of Keith Dangerville, we didn't have a clue. We didn't have a clue. That's why I honor Belial. But at this point, it's time for us to put this movement back together like the prophet left it for us. I mean, because it's not there. So let me get back to my point. No, I didn't say that. I said we didn't have many Moorish gods. I say it was a few, but we didn't have many. I'm talking about the original Moorish gods. Mainly, we've seen a lot of the Moorish American voice. I think that's what it was called, and it looked like it was on like copy paper or something. So let me move on down. It got so ugly in 1935 that they can't cry at me today because I'm telling the truth. Because Kirkman Bey actually published this right here. In this issue, we are publishing a copy of Our Authority. so that the public may know what the organization stands for. It is true that the faker Meliel, then belonging to the Prophet's Council. You hear what he's called, Emeliel? This was Kirkman Bay allegedly wrote in their newspaper. Nobody want to talk about that. Oh, we fought peace. Oh, no. Cavi emptor. It is true that the faker Meliel, then belonging to the Prophet's Council, when this authority was received in the state of Illinois, really recognized Noble Drew Ali as the one and only prophet. Since Prophet Noble Drew Ali departed, he reinstates himself as the reincarnated prophet. He even published a lie. Emeliel never called himself a reincarnated prophet. Y'all see this? But now I'm here to point out the lie of yesterday because they're moving the landmark so people can't find their way. And now people look at me like I'm the bad guy. You know what I mean? People look at me like I'm the bad guy. That's what they do. Let me remind you that this is all what it's all about. I guess if we go hold up. They might close out the meeting. I probably have to get you next week, Kenzie Bay. So look, remove not the landmark. They're probably going to close out the meeting in the temple. Buyer beware. Don't buy into this stuff. Buyer beware. This is going to be very important in a minute. I thought I'd be done by now, but it's coming to it. So he calls Emeliel a faker and he published it. Now I call you out on it. 30, 40, 50, 60 years later, who cares? We're going back and looking at the ancient landmarks. But now listen to say, we have such fools like him in Chicago. Call him a fool. Who also claim, how are you going to call the one that the prophet appoint a fool? We have such fools like him who claim to be the resurrected prophet. Now, there are babies born every day, but prophets are not being born for competition. We ask everyone to use their 5 senses when you observe this writing. We are using our 5 senses. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for reminding me. Emeliel never called himself a resurrected prophet. Never called himself a reincarnated prophet. But the lie was put out there. I just told you anything founded on a lie, you can forget about it. You can forget about it. It's a wrap. Now, I'm going to leave that alone right there. But now let's get to Rasadiel, because he's easy. You see, he got him, the Moorish Science Temple of America 1928 on his website. Let's get to him real quick, because he's nobody. Anyway, his organization is called Only Truth Matters Corporation. You see that? He's not even a real Moorish Science Temple of America, even faking to be a Moorish Science Temple of America. You understand what I'm saying? You see that? His organization is called Only the Truth Matters. That's his organization. That's just too easy. Did y'all see that? Maybe y'all don't see it. Y'all see that? Rasadiel, Isazel, the CFO, that's his organization. It's a nonprofit. Press 7 if you see that. Rasadiel is just light work. He's in his living room, got a podium in his living room for 30 years, calling himself a Supreme Grand Sheik. Light work. He's going to tell you how to build the nation, though. Y'all see that? Y'all know he sits in his living room, right? And telling you, like I'm in my basement right now. But he sits in his living room for 30 years, tell you how to build a nation under the organization called Only the Truth Matters Corporation. That's your Supreme Grand Sheik. What's supreme about this? Rasadiel. Cussing people out all the time. There you go. Only the truth matters. There you go. All right. So you know, Rasadiel, he's light work. He's not even worth going into a deep diatribe about, because it's very easy. It's very easy. He got a website, him and his wife, call himself MST of A 1928, and there you go. All right, we're almost getting to the good part. Now, the reason why a lot of this is so important, we're getting there. The reason why a lot of this is so important is because the prophet put this movement together to be an organization to metamorphose into a nation, clearly. And as you can see with this old stationary letterhead, you can see that the prophet had a full-fledged Supreme Grand Council. This was the letterhead of the Supreme Grand Council. Now, let me show you that the prophet was the Supreme Grand Chairman. Lomax Bey was the Supreme Grand Governor. Miliel was the Supreme Grand Sheik. Ross Bey was the Supreme Publicity Director and Supreme Grand Field Secretary. Let's talk about Ross Bey for a second. Ross Bey being the Supreme Grand Secretary, Supreme Publicity Director and Supreme Grand Field Secretary. The prophet had a publicity director. In other words, he had someone to make sure that it was publicized that the Moorish Science Temple of America was here, that we was working, that we was fighting for the cause. Moors are active, not passive. You see what I'm saying? He had a publicity director. I say it again, publicity. In other words, he was working through the media ends. You follow me? That's why Ross Bey was one of the editors of the Moorish Guide also. And he was a field secretary. He was in the field. Then he had the Supreme Grand Business Manager, Supreme Grand of the Supreme, and the Secretary of the Supreme Grand Council. And then he had the Supreme Grand Historian. You follow me? And Sister Pearl Drew Ali was the National Secretary of that time. So you see a full-fledged council here. Why do the Prophet Noble Drew Ali needs a council? We're about to get to it again. Prophet Noble Drew Ali wasn't have respect to all my brothers and sisters that are in church organizations, Nation of Islam, Hebrew. This is not the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's not structured like a church. It's not a place where you go and say Allahu Akbar or a mosque. Allahu Akbar, praise Allah. Yeah, you might do that, but it don't start there, nor does it end there. It don't start there, nor does it end there. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali's organization, it is a religious corporation embodied into a movement. It's a movement. It's a movement that's predicated on economics. It's a movement that's predicated on history, nationality, spirituality. It's a movement that's it's founded on you picking yourself up. You picking yourself up, putting in the work, and fighting for your freedom spiritually as well as economically, educationally, physically, in every other way known. But that ain't what we see today. That ain't what we see today. And that's why people are falling through the cracks. Now, during the time of the Prophet in the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Moorish Holy and Divine Movement, National Divine Movement, the Prophet never set aside the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, and that is a story for another time. As you can see in the newspaper during the time of the Prophet was still putting out information about the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. So why don't we hear about the Moorish Holy Temple of Science today? Well, in 1933, Kirkman Bey, he scratched that out. He said, no more Moorish Holy Temple of Science, and I need everybody to return all their literature who have joined me. And then he went and confiscated charters. He went and confiscated, y'all need to see those receipts too. He went and confiscated these things. And this is why today no one knows what the Moorish Holy Temple of Science is. But within the Moorish Divine and National Movement, there was the Moorish Science Temple of America and the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. I'll teach about the Moorish Holy Temple of Science on a later date because there is a unique system of teaching within the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Some people try to say it's spiritual. Some people try to say it's more spiritual. But no. The Moorish Holy Temple of Science, in short, is an international perspective of how to teach Moorish science. Let me give you an example. How much time I got? I'm already over time, so I might as well just keep going. Let me give you an example. The Moorish Science Temple of America is the Moorish Science Temple of America. In other words, it addresses the concerns of those who living within the borders of the United States of America. Y'all need me to go a little bit deeper on this. I think y'all do. I think y'all do. Let me see if I can find something real quick. I think y'all do. I can feel it. Y'all ain't doing nothing today. I can feel it. Let me just pull this up. Y'all need me to go just a little bit deeper? Huh? Let me go a little bit deeper. Real quick. All right. See if I can find this real quick. I just want to show you a brief difference. Let me just go a little bit deeper. All right. Just go a little bit deeper real quick. Just a little bit. I just want to give you a little something. All right. See if I can find it right quick. Okay, here we go. Yeah, let's go. All right. Here we go. All right. Let me just go a little bit deeper real quick. So the purpose of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science is for an international audience. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at a nationality card for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, one thing that you're going to notice is this is all going to come together in a minute. The Prophet never outlawed or set aside or forgot about the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. This is an original nationality card of 1926 for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. It's a copy of it. Let's read it. This is your nationality and membership card for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science and birthrights for Moorish Americans, etc. We honor all true and divine prophets, Muhammad and Jesus. May the blessings of the gods of our Father Allah be upon you that carry this card. I do hereby declare that you are a Muslim under divine laws of the Holy Quran of Mecca. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Noble Drew Ali, founder, 29 East 36th place. What you will notice on this nationality card, it doesn't say that I'm a citizen of the USA. So members that's in Canada, for instance, if there was a member of the Moorish Divine and National Movement, they wouldn't be a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. They would be a member of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. As we know, the charter of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science reads Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the world. So someone in Canada would be Moorish Canadian. They would have a charter for the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, but they would be under the umbrella of the Moorish Divine and National Movement, but have a nationality card from the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. And it wouldn't state on the nationality card as it does on our nationality card here in America that I am a citizen of the USA. But when Kirkman Bey removed that out of the way, you follow me? All Moorish Americans Muslims? All Muslims Moorish Americans? Are all Moorish Americans? I gotta get that in a minute. So let me say this. So when Kirkman Bey moved the landmark of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, it blocked you in the borders. You follow me? It blocked you in the borders of a national concept. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the first to teach what would come to be known as Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is that everyone from the diaspora of the descendants of the Asiatic people or the African people or the indigenous people come together and work together for one common cause. But when Kirkman Bey removed that ancient landmark of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the world and locked them into the Moorish Science Temple of America, now people don't see behind the borders, although all of the information in the prophets, he talks about the uniting of Asia. And so what happens is the Moorish Science Temple of America, home base being Chicago. Let me break down the sign. Most people wasting them times with these organizations called the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'm telling you right now, they're wasting their time. Because here we go. We're about to where the rubber going to meet the road real quick. The rubber going to meet the road. So the Moorish Science Temple of America, as we know it, and the home base being Chicago, Chicago begins to act like, as somebody just pointed out about the Vatican, it begins to act in the sense of the Vatican. In other words, say for instance, I'd use this for another class one time. Say for instance that the Vatican, say this is Chicago where this circle at. Then anyone that's connected to that, let me see, what is this? I got to get a Chicago back. I'll just do it like this. So this Vatican right here, as you can see, all right? So this is the Vatican City. So what happened is, in Rome, they carved out a piece of land, right? Yeah, the Vatican, but I'm going to use this as an example, Brother Rossi. They carved out a piece of land, right? But now, Vatican City is an independent country unto itself, for real. It's an independent state. Smaller than some of the cities in America, but it's an independent state. But guess what? When it put a basilica in any country, it falls under the laws of the Vatican. So what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was trying to put in place, and what we must put in place, is that home office in Chicago is the seat of power in order to control our destiny internationally and nationally by the laws of Heard's Revised Statute. So every temple becomes similar to a basilica. And I'm only using the Vatican as an example. Wherever you see a Catholic church or a basilica, wherever you see that, they are controlled by the Vatican. So wherever there's a temple in the United States or outside of the United States, that's how it's supposed to work. But why a temple? We're going to talk about that in a minute. Again, the Moorish Science Temple of America is not your religious persuasion, as you would see Christianity, Islam of the Eastern persuasion, or any other religious organization. The Moorish Science Temple of America is an organization to metamorphose into a full-blown nation, universally in all lands. All right? So home base is supposed to be Chicago. Home base is supposed to be Chicago, legally, lawfully. Each temple that comes out connects to Chicago, legally, lawfully. All land connects to Chicago, owned by home office, legally, lawfully. This is not a charitable organization, although we dispense charity. All right? Legally, lawfully. And we about to get in it now. We about to get in it now. We about to get in it now. So, with that being said, an example. The prophet gave us an example as it relates to the nationality card, not this one. Everything we see is a representation of society. Dues cards. Per capita tax. What was that? Emergency fund, Social Security. Membership card. You follow me? All of it. Each temple represents. Each temple is supposed to represent like an embassy. It's supposed to represent, if one would, a basilica. And I'm not saying the philosophy of which these things espouse. I'm talking about the power. Legally. This is what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was doing. This is what we must do. This is why I say you have been thoroughly misled. You have been thoroughly confused. Thoroughly. You hear what I say? So I'm going to get off of that, and I'll save that for another time, breaking down the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. The Moorish Holy Temple of Science is so people can become a part of the Moorish divine and national movement internationally. So brothers like Cujo, he should be proud to be a Moorish Canadian. Canadian is a sovereign government. You're not a Moorish American. You cannot read Act 6 in Canada. How can you read Act 6 in Canada? With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, color folk, black people, or Ethiopian, because these things were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 to 1865 during the time of slavery. That's American history. How can you tell somebody in the Congo that? How can you tell somebody in Cuba that? How can you tell somebody that? But it's a new era of time now, and all men must proclaim their nationality to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why law. But listen, Act 6, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. People of different nationalities, that is of the Asiatic diaspora, are able to join, but they must proclaim their nationality. And we're teaching our people their nationality. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or I got to bring up Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we're teaching our people their nationality. So in other words, if we got somebody that is of the Asiatic race around the world, they proclaim their nationality as we teach our people their nationality. Some people are coming with nationality. Man, we way behind, following these charlatans, following these people that's supposed to act like they know. You can tell they don't know because they're not acting on it. They're not acting on it. So only way you know that people know is because they act on it. They act on it. That's when you can tell people believe what they're talking, because they act on it. If they're not acting on it, they don't really believe it. You feel me? If they don't act on it, they don't believe it. That's just a fact. I mean, they can talk for 40 years. It don't mean nothing. If they're not acting on it, watch this. Let's get busy. So now, when you look at this, even the literature, they changed up on the literature. And I'm still doing the research on this. But this comes out of the Moorish Guide. When you look at the writing in the Moorish Guide of the questionnaires that is copied, it say, how old is our flag? It is over 50,000 years old. But when you look at the questionnaire that we have today, it says it is over 10,000 years old. They even put their hand in the literature. They even put their hand in the literature. You hear what I say? And we know, let me tell you something. Man, let me stop there. I mean, keep it going so I won't belabor the point. So, the prophet asked us, now the rubber gonna meet the road. Moors endorsed the Moorish village idea. The following letter is one of many received by the guide relative to establishment of our own town, owned and completely operated by the persons belonging to the Moorish Science Temple of America, January 29, 1929. Islam, in response to the question asked concerning the Moors having their own town, homes, etc., we will say all honor to the prophet who is going to give us something of our own, and we are all going to do all in our power to help build the Moorish Science Temple of America so that we can have something of our own. Signed, B.E. and D. Jackson Bay, Sister J. Jackson Bay. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the rubber meets the road. The Moorish village idea that we have failed to move on is a crying shame. And as I said, people are literally having church right now. Let me see something real quick. I want to drop this over here real quick so I can show y'all something. People are literally having, and nothing wrong if that's what you are into, but the Moorish Science Temple of America, I'm trying to close out some of my windows. The Moorish Science Temple of America does not functionally operate like a church. It does not. The prophet gave this in 1929. Do we know where we at today? Let me show y'all something. I passed this to my brothers last night and to the sisters in our group. Let me tell you something. Many people, let me see something real quick. See if that's it. All right. Many people have no clue. Most people claim to follow the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. They're not ready to let go. They're not ready to let go of the love of the benefits of being connected to the European and the United States setup. They're not ready to build their own yet. This is why they move as a church. This is why they move as just going in on Friday, coming out, and then going in on Sunday and coming out. They're not building no economic wealth. They're not even trying because they have no intentions to. Let me show you something real quick. Let me share something with you real quick. I want to show you a community. It might be hard to hear, but let me show you this real quick. Oh, my bad. Wrong video. I should have turned it up a little bit, but I'll do it like this. My bad. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to the page. Let me go to the page real quick. Let me go to the page. I'm gonna show y'all something. Let me go to the page. Let me go to the page. Right in South Carolina, right? Right in South Carolina, there's a group of people that created their own community in the 70s. Give me 1 second. And this is what Prophet Noble Drew Ali was talking about. I'm going to try to screen share it real quick. And you can go and check it out and learn about it. Oh, my bad. My bad. Let me get the screen share. There you go.
About this.
Wow.
Look at this.
I was born in Charleston, and I've been all through Africa.
Yes.
But this is my first time coming here. I just learned about this.
Wow.
These brothers and sisters built their own community, and they're there right now.
Process right now
In South Carolina.
Sister City with Ile Ife. We've already sent our delegation to the owner of Ile Ife. And,
you see this?
It's strong on us.
but it's breaking down.
It's breaking down.
They're right now in South Carolina. It looked like they're in Africa somewhere. My point is that they started their process in the 1970s. You feel what I'm saying? Give me a second. Let me share this real quick. Y'all not ready for this? Who's ready for this? Let me bring my slides back up real quick. When the Prophet Noble Drew Ali talked about this, and we are a nation to metamorphose into a nation, as I see we need to do, here is their king right there. This is in South Carolina, the Oyotunji African village. They got a nation within a nation right now. They built this thing with hands. No running water in the 70s. No electricity in the 70s. This is why people have misled our people, because they have rocked up to sleep and allow us to continue to be misled. This is in South Carolina. They got their own king, their own little land. People are moving there daily. The point that I'm making is the Prophet Noble Drew Ali established the Moorish Science Temple of America to do just that. And here we are. We have 10 acres of land that we can cultivate. I'm raising money and pushing for people to move to cultivate it. How many people are going to leave their homes and come to that 10 acres of land and help build something there? How many people are going to make donations? How many people? How many people are going to cut a tree? How many people is going to, well, we already got the wells there. How many people are going to build? How many people? See, this shows you that we are spoiled. It shows you that we are spoiled. Now, people will cry and say, well, as soon as you build it, they're going to do something about it. Well, they've been there since the 70s. So we know that's not true. We know that's not true. When you build a society that's predicated on high moral standards, spirituality, the universe protects you. So you got people that living the Yoruba culture right in South Carolina since 1970. Since 1970. You know what I mean? Since 1970. You feel me? Come on now. So I'm saying, what we waiting for? We got the 10 acres. I'm putting money everywhere to flip the money so we can get this building done and make it perpetual. We got it. So my point is, do we really want freedom? Do we really want freedom? Because that's the freedom Prophet Noble Drew Ali was talking about. And most of these groups that been around since the time of Prophet Noble Drew Ali that hijacked the movement, they happy with going home, watching Netflix, They happy with going home, eating ramen noodles. They happy with going home and eating some pork chops. They happy with putting their children on the bus with a child molester. They happy to put their children on bus with people who you don't even know. They happy with the slave owner teaching their children. They happy with that. Somebody said, how will I donate? If we got anybody with the Temple app in here, you can donate to the Temple app. You know what I'm saying? But our Moorish Science Temple of America is not their Moorish Science Temple of America. Our doors are open for everybody, whether you want to join the temple or not. All you got to do is be of high moral standards. All you got to do is have a heart of love. But those who join us are members of our people. Everybody that rocked with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't become a proclaimed Moorish American. They were still in the temple, helping the cause, had a place of refuge. What about the place of refuge? When you look at, for example, Katrina. We have a brother in here now from that when Katrina happened, he had to go to Texas just to have some type of normalcy, which probably wasn't even normal. When those things happen, we're supposed to have a refuge. If this thing goes to shut down, as they like to call Armageddon, we're supposed to have a refuge. We haven't prepared nothing. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was trying to prepare the Moors. So this is why when the brother came in the beginning of the show and said, shout out to all your religious people. Man, this is crazy. Because we want to have our own our own, grow our own, teach our own, maintain our own, interact with any and everybody, but have our own independent thing going on. That's a problem. Well, our brothers and sisters in South Carolina, they started in the 70s and they're thriving today. I'm just saying. So that's what it's all about. And let me show you something real quick. Let me show you something. When the Prophet Noble Drew Ali set up this organization, let me stop this real quick. He set it up under Herds Barad's statue. Brother Mazouk Razinel, can you put the Cash App in there if anybody want to donate? I wasn't soliciting donations. I'm telling you, I'm soliciting you to think about what's going on. Because this world that we know, it will soon be not the world that we know. It's falling apart at the seams every minute. Real talk. The water in Baltimore right now has E. coli. The water in Mississippi is bad. I even said that last year. I said we don't even manage our own water. At any moment, somebody could put something in the water. Who knows how bad the water has been before we seen Brown come out the faucet? It could have been bad for the last year. ODB, can you put the Cash App in there for me, please, if anybody want to donate? Again, just because somebody asked. Who knows how bad it been? Who knows? Who knows how bad that water been before it turned brown? And I said that earlier this year. I said we don't even know we can't even flush our own poop. That's not an independent people. That's not a godly people. You can't even get rid of your own excrement. You can't even grow your own food. Thank you, ODB. You can't even grow your own food. And we claim that we're so wise, we're so intelligent. This is what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was trying to establish. And now this is what we must do by the words of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And the same with the brothers that are practicing the Yoruba culture in South Carolina. They're practicing the principles of Moorish science. The Hebrews should be doing the same. NOI should be doing the same. Again, anybody that rock with Tahaka Bay, I'm telling you, I don't try to compel people to join the Moorish Science Temple of America, but I do compel you to say, man, we need to do something. And we trying to follow this thing to the letter. Let me show you something. When you understand how the prophet put this movement together under Hurd's revised statute, let me show you something real quick. I'm going to try to point out something real quick before I get out of here. This is the laws of Hurd's revised statute. And it's only statutes, right? It says, upon incorporation of any congregation, church, or society, we are a society. All real personal property held by any person or trustees for the use of the members thereof shall immediately vest in such corporation and be subject to its control, and may be used, mortgaged, sold, and conveyed the same as it had been conveyed to such corporation by deed. But no such conveyance or mortgage should be made so to affect or destroy the intent and effect of any grant, legacy, or donation. Stop right there, legacy. I'll teach on that later. But that's for my indigenous people that say that we heirs to this land. It's ours by legacy. But let me finish. Or donation that be made to such person or trustee for the use of such congregation, church, or society. However, listen to this. This limitation on the disposition of real or personal property does not apply to the extent that a restriction imposed by the donor on the use of an institutionalized fund may be released by the governing board of the institution under the Uniform Prudent Management. See, these are the things that people have to look up so they understand how this can be established and be preserved, if you will. I want to share this last thing, and I want you to study it if you are a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and you'll find out that people are not moving on this. Listen to this. This is how the prophet set up the movement under these guidelines. Any corporation that may be formed for religious purposes under this act, or any law of this state for the incorporation of religious societies, that's us, may receive land by gift, legacy, or purchase. Again, I want to explain to you what legacy is. Legacy means that if you're indigenous to the land and you find that your ancestors was here, you can make appeal and application to have it turned over to you, no different than how the quote unquote $5 Indians or Native Americans have done, but in a different way. Because this be yours free and clear under the religious society known as the Moorish Science Temple of America. Listen to what it says. For the incorporation of religious societies may receive land by gift. We receive some by gift, legacy, or purchase, and may erect or build thereon such houses, buildings, or other improvements as it may deem necessary for the convenience and comfort of such congregation, church, or society, and may lay out and maintain thereon a burying ground, so you can bury your those who pass on. But only 10 acres of such land shall be exempt from assessment for taxation. How much land do we have? 10 acres. 10 acres can be exempt from taxation. There is your embassy. And all such land in excess of 10 acres shall be assessed at the same value as if it were not a part of the cemetery. And no such property shall be used only except in the manner expressed in the gift, grant, or legacy, or if no use or trust is so expressed, only the benefit of the corporation, church, or society. Now, we could do a whole class on that. But what I'm trying to show you is that Prophet Noble Ali, when he came with the Moorish village, do you want your own town? That was the foundation for you to govern yourself, for you to control yourself, for you to benefit and raise yourself back into an independent nation within a nation, or as my brothers say, an enclave. Prophet Noble Ali gave us the blueprint. That's why it's so important that we listen to the detail, we follow the detail. But this only works within an organization. This does not work as individuals. This only works in an organization that is legally, lawfully standing on what the Prophet Noble Ali put together and can show and prove. You follow me? So I just wanted to give you the scope of what the Moorish Science Temple of America that the Prophet Noble Ali gave us in relation to these people calling themselves the Moorish Science Temple of America. They have no plans to leave their fried chicken. They have no plans to leave their pizza parlor. They have no plans to leave their hot wings. They have no plans to leave that. Rasadiel is not going to leave his hot wings. Braswell Bay is not leaving nowhere. They are not building no nation. This is an organization that's set to be a nation. Somebody made a donation, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the donation from anybody that just, I won't say your name because it's not on the screen, but you know who you are, and I thank you. The point that I'm making is, this is something, and you know, in the community that I was just showing you, they actually have tours. Look at this. Let me show you how they bring money in. Let me stop for a minute. Let me show you something real quick. And I'm going there. I'm going there soon. I'm going there real soon. Because I need to get some lessons from them. I got what I need. I just need a little inspiration to get people motivated. How to get people motivated. You feel me? I need to get people motivated. Come out and build. You don't have to live there forever, but at least come out there when you get tired. Come out there and rejuvenate. Come to the Moorish village and rejuvenate. You know what I mean? Help us build for the summer on your vacation. The Yoruba African Kingdom in South Carolina. Look.
We just walked inside the gateway of Oyotunji Village, and we're coming into the Traders Bazaar, and we're going to see what goodies they have inside for us. This is the marketplace, and there's lots of visitors today for the Oshun Festival. Here we are with two gentlemen, and they have herbs.
And that's another problem with y'all. Y'all scared to take European money. European come to the village, they spending money too. They want to buy some of this stuff. No, it won't be in Baltimore. It'll be elsewhere. It won't be in Baltimore. We already got it. We already got it. We just need to build on it. We need to motivate people to leave their homes and come out there and build on it this winter if they got time. You know what I mean? Look at it.
And we're going to have them introduce themselves and talk about what they see. Lots of jewelry for sale.
African village in the United States of America, started by a man named Walter Serge King. He came into the world with a fascination about his culture. And the story goes that as a little boy, he was sitting on the back steps, coloring books, stupid and dumb and worth nothing. The color of our skin wasn't right. The width of our nose wasn't right. The breadth of our lips was wrong.
Listen, these are brothers and sisters from the United States. Let me listen. Look up the Osun Festival. Just put Yoruba, South Carolina. This is something. This is a hidden jewel. This is a hidden jewel. They have been there since 1970. Now, the thing is, if we are people that like technology, then man, we should have the Teslas of communities on 10 acres. Why not have the Teslas of communities? We ain't got to live like nomads in the 1900s, early 1900s. We can have a Tesla of a community. Everything off solar power. Everything ran off solar power. So I'm telling you, these people have lied and they played us. They have lied and they have played us. They're just talking more science. They're philosophizing more science. They're not really trying to escape or get away from the clutches of the iron hand of oppression. And whether you are in the Moorish Science Temple of America or any of these groups that claim to be about liberation, they're not ready to live separate, but also together. When I mean separate, build your own. When I mean together, do trade with, so you won't just keep this siphoning stuff from you. You need to take stuff from other communities to build your community. Many people ain't ready for that. That's why for the last 6 months, all I've been doing was trying to put money in something so I can raise more, trying to get things flowing so it can flow like a river. So ultimately I can get there and I can bring some young, strong brothers and sisters there that's ready to get busy so we can get busy. But that don't mean that we have to, everybody got to live there 24/7. Some people just come to visit. Some people come for a season. Some people come for the weekend. Some people live there indefinitely. But we got to start freedom somehow. And we duplicate that around the world. What about bookkeeping? That's why we have a council. That's why we have a business manager. Absolutely. We need all of that. We need every talent that people can lend to build our nation. As Mnu just say, our enclave. It is what it is. It's bigger than YouTube. It's bigger than Morse World TV. It's bigger than screaming at the people yelling Black Power. It's bigger than screaming at boys that ain't trying to do it right, that could care less. It's way bigger than that. But what I'm telling you is that if we don't preserve these holy and divine teachings, we will continue to get what we've been getting. And that's for the Moorish American. We keep following these people that's making up stuff. We keep following these people that are shaking up the pot. We keep following up these people. You know what I'm saying? We like friends, so we'll run with a friend. Just because you're a friend. Recently, brother got mad at Tahaga Bay. Instead of facing and we're going to talk about that too. Brother get taken up on charges because he was living foul. You know what I'm saying? Instead of facing the wrath, facing the charges, he dipped and avoid the charges. And now, he got people scattered. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't living right. And we're going to talk about that too real soon. You know what I mean? Real soon. that when we hold one another accountable, that we got to face it like a man or woman. We don't run. We face it like a man or woman. And the same thing with me. If somebody take me up on charges, I'm going to face it like a man. I'm going to defend my name, or I'm going to submit that I was wrong and I'm going to do better. That's it. It's only two ways. If I'm right, I'm going to defend my name. I ain't running. If I'm wrong, I'm going to submit that I was wrong and I'll try to do better. It be my intentions to do better. That's how you build a nation. You don't run. You don't scatter the flock. You don't do that. You stick with it because your loyalty is to the system, not a person. Your loyalty is to the divine system that Prophet Noble Drew Ali put down, not a person. Not to a Tahaka Bay, not to any person with a name. It's the system. The system is the pathway out of this. It's the system. It's the system that you're accountable to. You're not accountable to a person. The person supposed to represent the system. But if the person misrepresent the system, then you hold him accountable to the system. And you continue to build something so your children won't have to face what you face. That's the bottom line. This is for your children. So your children don't wake up and see people falling out off of fentanyl. So your children don't have to look out their door seeing that there was 7 murders just the past weekend. So your children won't have to turn on the TV and see somebody twerking and shaking and my booty pop better than hers, or this guy out there talk about some old filthy N-word stuff all the time. This is what this is about. That you control the media that goes into the mind of your children. You control the education that goes into the mind of your children. That you put your money together and you get yourself a network that you can listen to 24/7 without filth. But you can turn on the radio in your car and you ain't got to worry about, because you got a radio station with you and your nation, and you know the content because each and every one is making a contribution. When you turn on a radio station and you're driving to the grocery store because, you know, it's a little bit, the food is not like you want it to be coming out of the garden. So now you're utilizing the grocery store, not because you need it, but because it's an option. But when you go to the grocery store, you turn on the radio, you ain't got to say, oh, that's my song, but the baby in the back. You see what I'm saying? We build our own network of entertainment. We build our own network of books. We build up, and this is what it's about. This is why I'm a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, because I see the vision of Prophet Noble Drew Ali in living color. I see it in living color, and I see it as reachable. I see it's reachable because I know that when you do right, right happens. So Prophet Noble Drew Ali, as I read in the beginning, he said he has latent powers, and he can call it at any time into defense. So sometimes that defense is putting people in your life that can help you with the mission, putting circumstances in your life that can help you with the situation. Sometimes that's just how life works. Right comes from right. So if you do right by the prophet's structure and law, as he said, preserve these holy and divine laws, he will send people. The law will send people in your path to make your work easy. It'll be a cakewalk. And the law has put people in my path to help make my work easy. I've never thought that I have friends like I have now. Some of them I never met in person till after they supported. Some of them I never met in person and they supported. Because they can feel the energy. They can feel the sincerity. They can feel the urgency. Because when this thing crumble, and it will crumble, where will you run to? What will you have? And what will you have to defend it? While the confusion is out there, as it says in one of my favorite sayings in the Bible, oh, the great Babylon has fallen. And people was looking from afar, and they said, the great Babylon is burned. Are you going to be in the burning part? Or will you be standing afar off looking at it, as it says in the book of Revelations? Will you be looking at the great Babylon, telling the story? Oh, the great Babylon has fallen. Or will you be right in there, mixed in the rubble? I'm trying to be outside looking at it fall. And it will fall. Unfortunately, it will, because there's too much blood in the land. And there's too much blood on people's hands. And that's just what it is. Thank you for joining me today on our Guidance of the Nations class. I appreciate y'all. The next time I'll be here, it's probably going to be a debate. If somebody email me, I would like for that brother to email me, and we can set a debate so we don't have to talk over each other. If anybody would like to be a moderator, email me so I can write your name down. So if anybody wish to debate me, we can have a fair moderator. I can pick some fair people, but I would love to have volunteers to moderate, because I would debate any information that I put on the table. Any information, I will debate it respectfully. I will debate it cordially. I will talk to you as a gentleman, as a lady. I may get passionate at times, but I will respect you. I'm real passionate about the truth. I'm never in my passions, but I'm real passionate about the truth. And I will debate any information that I put down. And the difference between me and a lot of other people, I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong so I can ultimately be right. I'm willing. If I'm wrong, I'm willing to admit it so I can be right. With that being said, peace and love, family. Thanks for joining me. Thanks, everybody. I see y'all next time. Look for, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the bell. I will be doing this once a week, but I'm going to try to sneak in during midweek if I can get somebody that want to conversate on some topics about building a nation or the philosophy and teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace and love, family.